Hey YouTube, hey YouTube, hey. So big news, man. I'm gonna make a video about DC, the DC side of things. This is impressive. This is impressive. It's possibly a step too late, but it's the right step to make regardless. So the other night, it was announced that Geoff Johns has been announced as sort of the head of DC Films, co-head with another guy, Andrew Berg, but he's going to be overseeing those. Warner Brothers have put him in charge of the superhero universe they're building right now, like all of it. He's going to oversee it all. Like he was made the chief creative officer or something along those lines back in 2010. They've stepped it up and like, right, you're in charge of all of this. So what this means is Marvel has Kevin Feige, the guy on the baseball cap who gives the interviews, and he's kind of outlined and structured this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe right up to Infinity War and possibly beyond, who knows. So he's overseen that. He was the mastermind behind that. He's kept the ship sailing that way, and he's had a vision. He's worked with different directors. He's an on-hand guy. DC, the DC side of things hasn't had a guy like that. Chris Nolan helped with Man of Steel. I think he helped less with Batman v Superman. There's David Ayer is directing Suicide Squad, but there's no one governing body between the two, and so, well, Geoff Johns has helped with this. So this Geoff Johns, I was looking for an example for him. Now the example I had was, he's the Rick Rubin of DC Comics. I say Rick Rubin because of Rick Rubin's work with Johnny Cash, Rick Rubin's work with Metallica, Rick Rubin's work with Jay-Z. Rick Rubin's work with the Beastie Boys. He has a habit of bringing out the best in artists where where you thought they had nothing else to give, or you just thought they were quite one-dimensional, and suddenly his work with them becomes some of the best work they've ever done. But my more musically inclined friends have said maybe he's not the best example. So to steer away from the producer analogy, Geoff Johns is effectively Winston Wolfe in this case. Geoff Johns, he fixes problems. Geoff Johns does. Geoff Johns takes the characters that are dopey. He takes the characters that are jokey or just, kind of 60s and makes them A, cool, or B, better than they were before. Like, again, his work will become some of the best work you've seen on those characters. He did a Superman story, a Superman Secret Origins story a few years back, which is really, really great. It's the opposite of Man of Steel. It's uplifting. It shows Superman as a beacon of hope, as he's supposed to be. It's brilliant. Seek it out. He's made Aquaman cool again. He's made, he did an 8-year run on Green Lantern so that people cared about Green Lantern and Sinestro again. Seek out his work. I'm going to start doing some more comic videos. But yes, so this is good news. He's a smart guy. He comes from a comics background. He's been put in charge of all of this. So Warner Brothers have said, "Hey, help us. You seem to know a thing or two about this. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Steer this in the right direction." And he's made it clear that he wants to bring hope and optimism back to this universe, which is great. It's been missing. Superman needs to inspire us. Man of Steel should have been like a Passion of the Christ-esque film where people come out inspired, motivated, reinvigorated instead of, God, a lot of people died in that, instead of that. And now Superman's dead and he hasn't really inspired anybody. But this is a good thing. This guy, Geoff Johns, he's also spearheaded a lot of the DC TV shows. He worked on Arrow very early on. He was an executive producer on The Flash. Legends of Tomorrow, I don't know how much he had in that, but I know that in Supergirl, over at CBS, the whole reason we have Martian Manhunter in Supergirl is because Geoff Johns saw David Harwood's performance as Hank Henshaw, and he was like, it's a shame we didn't cast him as Martian Manhunter. And they went, hold on, why don't we cast him as Martian Manhunter? Just on a whim, that's how we got this cool character. This guy pulled some strings, and now we have somebody cooler than we thought we were going to have. So that's excellent news for DC. I do wonder if it's coming a bit late. He's done excellent work with some camp, dopey characters that really turn into really cool. Green Lantern, Captain Marvel, Aquaman, characters that you think are a joke, he legitimizes in really believable ways. So I can't wait to see him take over the reins from Zack Snyder and just go, yeah, this is why these superheroes are cool. They haven't been given the fair shake. We have to fix that. I can't wait for that. Now, the other bit of DC news, and I'm hoping this is how I can, this is all contained and all connected, is that Supergirl season 2 was picked up, but it's moving to the CW because CBS were dragging their heels. Supergirl, for those who don't know, that show was on a different network to The Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, all their usual DC shows, but they're made by the same people. They're made by the same brain trust of Kreisberg and Berlanti, and you can Google it. So that's moving over. I'm happy and I'm concerned about this. Number one, it looks so good when it's filmed in LA. The budget looks great. The effects look great. They filmed The Flash and Arrow in Vancouver, where the weather is crap, and they cut the budget down on those shows. I mean, they're still pretty good. They're very impressive with what they do. Staggeringly so sometimes. But it's I'm concerned about that. I do wonder. I mean, this is a girl who flies, and her alien friend. So I'm worried about this, but I still think it's going to be. It's the right move. The only problem is I really wish they hadn't. I think they really shot themselves in the foot during that Flash crossover they did a few weeks ago with Supergirl, where they established that Supergirl is in a different dimension to the Flash and Arrow and stuff because she hasn't heard of them. So I always thought, why not just have them up the road? It seems quite basic, it seems a little bit stupid, I know, but they're all concerned, these shows are all concerned about what's happening in their own particular cities, so why not, Why, just have that. They can be their own little realms, but they're all connected, who cares? In this instance, it's a different universe. Now, they've mentioned that they're having a four-way crossover this year, but in the fall, for all of these shows: DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, Flash, and now Supergirl. So that's something. I'm wondering how that can happen if one's in another dimension. I don't want them to constantly have to explain this or whatever. The only way I'd love for them to coalesce it all together and just have the realities morph into one, which I'd like, but isn't necessarily going to happen, would be if they did something they've teased at right from the start of The Flash, and have a Crisis on Infinite Earth style crossover, which is pretty big. Not only would that feed into, not only would that bring all the realities together, if you could extend it even to the movie universes, to our Batman v Superman, to the Snyder DC films, we can, we might not be able to see anybody from them there, but an acknowledgement that they exist, or even Gotham, things like that. Now, this is ambitious, I know, and it's probably just a pipe dream, and this is probably just me rambling again as usual. For those who don't know, Crisis on Infinite Earths is a comic series from the 80s where the DC Comics publishing house decided we've got too many stories and characters in their own little universes, and it's hard for the reader to keep track. We need to thin the herd. So they cull the fat of a lot of the universes. Some of the popular characters move from one universe to another. They just get reshipped. Everything gets remade, and it's just a lot smoother. And it's been that easy since then, with one or two exceptions. But generally speaking, it worked. It works. It's fine. If they were to do that with this, with the TV shows that are all, they're not connected, but they're all DC, but it's this Flash, the fact that we have one Flash on TV, we're getting another Flash in the movies, it's bizarre, but whatever. The fact that we had an adult Bruce Wayne and a child Bruce Wayne who are two different Bruce Waynes and two different realities, who cares? If they can find some way of tying those all in together without one contradicting the other, then I'm excited. That again, it's just my babbling. This is just a hypothesis I have. I know Geoff Johns has teased that. Listen, the DC are famous for having a multiverse. So if they can just say, oh yeah, they've said the multiverse on The Flash before. If the DC films are in that multiverse, I'm on board. Okay, that's fine. That's all I need to know. Just put it all together, do it, and I'm gonna start doing some more comic videos because I think people should read Geoff Johns' work. I'm generally a Marvel fan, but anything he does is interesting, and I keep track of that. it's big stuff. But those are my thoughts on all that DC news, all that sweet, sweet DC news. Geoff Johns, man, Supergirl, all of it. If you like this vid, please click like, subscribe, view, share, all the usual jazz, and I'll see you when I see you.